Hey there guys, what's up? Welcome back to Deck Dissection, episode 3, and today I am going to be showcasing my fun little Lyrilusc deck. So just heads up, word of warning, do not expect this deck to be good. It's absolutely atrocious. It's the least consistent mess you will ever see, and in all fairness, it's just a little bit of casual fun. I've had the Lyrilusc core for about 2 years now, or for however long since they came out, basically, and I never really built them. So I just felt like, you know what, yeah, let's just do it, honestly. There's nothing really more to say apart from the fact that, like I said, this deck is absolutely atrocious and only ever useful in casual. So, first up, 3 Cobalt Sparrow, first of the Lyrilusc main deck monsters. If you don't, they're all level 1 Wind Wing Beast. And so Cobalt Sparrow is the first of them. If it's special summoned, you can add a level 1 Winged Beast monster from your deck to your hand once per turn. And a Wind Xyz monster that was summoned using this card on the field gains the effect, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. So it seems pretty unassuming, but it's a fantastic card. And Lyrilusc is an OTK deck, so keep that in mind. Next up, the second Lyrilusc main deck monster is Sapphire Swallow, another level 1 Windwing Beast. If you control a Wing Beast type monster, you can special summon both this card and any other level 1 Wing Beast monster from your hand. Once again, that's a once per turn. And if you use it to Xyz summon, the Xyz monster gains the effect, when it's Xyz summoned, you can target a Lyrilusc in your graveyard and attach it to it as material. So that buffs up your Lyrilusc Xyz to usually around 5 or 6 materials. You want to get it to at least 5. So there we go, that's that. And then the final Lyrilusc main deck monster is Turquoise Warbler. So if you control no monsters, you can special summon it. It's basically a Cyber Dragon for the archetype. And if it's special summoned from your hand, you can special summon any Lyrilusc monster from your hand or graveyard. So it's just an easy way to set it up, basically. First turn play. Obviously, you want to go second with this deck. Like I said, it is an OTK deck. Next up to the absolutely terrible ideas for tech choices that I've had to get level 1s onto the field. First off, Hackworm. If your opponent controls no monsters, you can special summon it. It's a level 1. It works for the Xyz monster. Next up, Painlanius. It's a level 1 Winged Beast. That's pretty much it, honestly. There's nothing else really to say about it. It works for the Xyz monster. Next up, 2 King of the Swamp. Fantastic card just there for searching out your polymerization, really, and you can actually use it as a substitute for the material on the fusion monster. I have done it a couple of times just to get the OTK. Next up, just 5 tech cards. I'm going to do these 2 first, though. Rainbow Karibo and Performer Pal Kariborble. So yeah, they're level 1s that special summon themselves, and they prevent you from taking damage. That's pretty much all it is. They're Karibos, not really much else to say, although they're cute little bastards. And next up, the final 3 techs. Guardragon, Avenger, yes, I'm using an Infernity in a non-Infernity deck, and Cupid Volley, and this is just completely unknown. Guardragon, yeah, it's a level 1, that's pretty much it, and it protects one of your linked monsters, not that you tend to have any. Avenger summons itself when one of your monsters is destroyed by battle, and since all your monsters are level 1, this is just going to stay level 1, basically. And Cupid Volley, it's just there to either get shit into the graveyard or be a level 1 that you can use for the Xyz summon. So there we go, that's that. Next up, spell cards, ever so slightly more generic for this kind of deck. 3 Polymerization, standard fusion card, don't really need to explain, you know what it does. 2 Super Poly, once again, standard, it's always being used, I see it in 90% of decks these days, which is completely understandable. With the amount of dark decks going around right now, you can run, alongside with this, you can run Starving Venom, Borrowload Furious, so many things, basically. Next up, some draw cards, 2 Pot of Desires, 1 Avarice. Yeah, nothing really much else to say. Once you get your starting hand, if you draw Desires, then it's completely fine. This deck is literally either OTK or death. So you either OTK turn 2, or you lose horribly. That's those. Next up, a little bit of removal. 2 Twin Twister, standard enough basically. Gets a Lyrilusc in the graveyard as well. A field spell, because I love field spells. 2 Fusion Recycling Plant, adds you to ditch a card to get a poly. And then there's 4 other one-offs. Instant Fusion, that's for just one specific card in the extra deck. That is a level 1 that we'll get into later. And then the next up standard ones, Foolish Burial, 1 for 1. Dark Hole. I run Dark Hole because I don't have a spare Raigeki, and in all fairness, I like the whole idea of, if I'm going down, you're going down with me. So, that's those really. And then 2 trap cards, Call of the Haunted, because why the hell not, really? Like I said, OTK turn 2 or bust. So that's the main deck. Next up for the extra deck, this is where we really get into the meat of it, really. So, 3 Lyrilusc Assembled Nightingale. This card, I absolutely love the way that they designed it. So, for those of you who don't know, rank 1 Wind Wing Beast monster, 0 attack and defense base, 2 or more level 1 monsters is the summoning requirement. Gains 200 attack for each Xyz material it has. It can attack directly, and it can attack a number of times equal to the amount of Xyz material it has, as long as it has material attached. But, I mean, that makes perfect sense, because if it has none, it can't attack. Or rather, if it has none, it wouldn't be able to attack. So, if it doesn't have any, it can still attack at least once. But then again, you're getting 0 damage unless you've buffed it. And once per turn, quick effect, you can detach an Xyz material from this card, and until the end of the turn, Lyrilusc monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and you take no battle damage. So if you do somehow survive, either going first or into turn 3 because you don't OTK them, this at least can actually protect you. So I do absolutely love this card. Next up, 3 of the second part of the OTK, Independent Nightingale. So once again, fantastic card. It requires Assembled Nightingale, so our Xyz monster, and any one Lyrilusc monster. This is the use for King of the Swamp, basically. So you use King of the Swamp to substitute it for the Xyz, and use the Xyz as the other Lyrilusc monster. If it's Fusion Summon using any Xyz monster, that's original name is Lyrilusc, you can increase its level by the number of materials that monster had, and it gains attack equal to its level multiplied by 500. It's unaffected by other cards' effects, and once per turn, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to its level times 500. So, I'd imagine you gathered what the main part of the OTK is right now. Basically, you want this girl on the field with 5 materials, ram into your opponent directly for 5,000 damage, main phase 2, fuse it off with something else, into this, it becomes level 6, you burn your opponent for 3,000, and that's game, basically. That's the whole idea of the deck. Next up, this isn't a full extra deck, by the way, there's only 11 cards, but it's fine. Sylvan Princess Sprite, it's a rank 1, and it potentially helps you get spell or traps. Next up, Instant Fusion target, Alcahest. Like I said, it's a level 1 fusion monster, and if you happen to be playing against the absolute madman who still runs metal foes, it's a super poly target. And then finally, Firefighting Darmadol. Standard, basically, it's a wing beast link monster, and it gains attack for each monster on the field. That's pretty much it. Nothing really much else to say. So yeah, that was my absolutely terrible fun and competitive Lyrilusc turn 2 OTK deck. Like I said, it's basically just either you OTK turn 2 or you die. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time on Deck Dissection.